Greetings everyone, this is Larry3 and today I am speaking about the T25-2 tank destroyer. A tank destroyer that's really dismissed by a lot of players mainly due to its pen, which is very low for its tier. I'm going to go into comparisons with some other tank destroyers and then I'm going to speak about my crew skills for it, and then I shall take it into battle. Okay, before we start, you may have noticed I'm comparing it to only 4 other tank destroyers. This is because the T25-2 is turreted. I believe that if a tank destroyer possesses a turret, it's more superior than a non-turreted tank destroyer. And these 4 just happen to be the other tier 7 turreted TDs. Now, the Scorpion, its gun is on a rotatable mount. Its gun is, but it can only traverse its gun so far in either direction. Same with the Challenger. It possesses a turret, but it cannot fully traverse it 360. But they're both on a turret, so yeah, I thought they should be added too. It is technically turreted. Technically. Okay, if you look right here for penetration, the Hellcat and T25-2, both of them possess the lowest pens for any tank destroyer of this tier. If there's one lower, it would surprise me. 170 is low. The Hellcat has it worse at 167. 200, 220, and 203, those are acceptable pens. 170 is just way low. And I keep mentioning this because Wargaming, please buff the pen on the T25-2. It does not even have to go to 200. 195. There, that would be an acceptable pen. Okay, rate of fire, gun loading. It's not horrible. 6.5 seconds, a little bit quicker than the Scorpion, but not horrible. 6.44, that sounds about right for the Challenger. I used to have the Challenger, but I sold it. 6.44, going by memory. Actually, now that I think about it, I thought that was quicker. Okay, 6.8 for the Steyr, that's really nice. This thing can fire more quicker than I thought. Gun depression, -10 across the board is -10 gun depression is really nice. Anything above -8 I consider great. Anything below -8 I consider bad. Although the gun depression on the Steyr is kind of questionable. It can get -8, but only on the sides and rear, not the front. For the front, I believe it can only get -6, but do not quote me on that. Aim time for the T25-2 is very friendly at 1.59 seconds. Same with the Super Hellcat, 1.59. 1.78 for the Scorpion and 1.83 for the Challenger. Those could be better. Same with the Steyr, 1.78. Those could be better. But I suppose something has to be balanced out. This has the 1.59 second aim time. I suppose they're trying to balance that out for 170 pin, although that's not enough because this again is way too low. Okay, damage per minute, 2,216 is friendly. The Challenger being 2,609, that does not surprise me, because when I had this thing, it could output a lot of damage very quickly, just going by memory. Now, it has been a while since I had the Challenger again. If it's changed since then, I do not know, but 2,609 is very nice, and that sounds like, or seems like, what I had when I had it. Okay, hit points. The T25-2 is 850, but it is a tank destroyer. See, all of these here, you're not going to break the 1,000 mark, because it's not a heavy tank, it's not a medium tank, it's a tank destroyer. Well, actually the T25-2 is something of a hybrid. I'll show you. Okay, so it uses the T25 hull, which itself is a medium tank, and then it uses the, I'd call it the M36 turret. It does not call it that right here, but this is clearly an M36 turret. Okay, let me show you. Take a mental picture of this. Okay, let's go to the M36. See how similar they look? The top half is a tank destroyer. Bottom half is a medium tank hull. Okay, to comparison again. Okay, the hull and turret armor are both 76, but those numbers do not reveal everything. So, hull right here is 76, this plate, but it's sloped. Could probably squeeze a little more, maybe 20 more, giving it around 90, although that's unreliable for tier 7. The matlet though is very sloped, so this is 76, but it's so well sloped it'll give you trollish bounces. Even if an enemy tank is shooting you with, say, 200 plus penetration, it's entirely possible this thing will bounce it just because of how well sloped it is. Okay, Scorpion, 1 across the board. It has no armor. Super Hellcat, 13 across the board, no armor. Challenger, it's not like the Scorpion or Hellcat, but it's still unreliable. Actually, all their armors are unreliable, except for the T25-2's matlet, which will give you trollish bounces. Do not rely on it, but expect it to bounce sometimes. Okay, mobility. This is one of those numbers that I call into question. So it states 56, but even with off-road driving, which I have for my T25-2, I almost never see 56 unless going downhill. I question this number. This should probably state 45 to 50, not 56. Okay, but it's faster than the Scorpion, actually. They're roughly the same. This will move slightly, very slightly. It's very slightly quicker. Okay, like I said, do not put weight into this number 56. It is more along the lines of where the Scorpion is. I'd probably say 47. It's close there. The Scorpion and T25-2 are very close. It's just T25-2 is, like I stated, a little bit quicker, and I have off-road driving on it, so that should tell you something. Super Hellcat at 72 kph, no surprise there. Challenger 52, going by memory, that seems about right. I do not own the Steyr, but 35 surprised me. expected it to be a little bit quicker considering how light it is. 16 tons, I do not own it. I guess just going by the weight, I expected more from it, but that is what that is. Okay, concealment. No surprise that the Scorpion and Super Hellcat are better than the T25 too. Same with the Steyr. The Scorpion and Super Hellcat, very small tank destroyers. The Scorpion is very easy to conceal. The Steyr, I don't see them up close too often, but I believe it's on the smaller side. Okay, for concealment, 47 is good, but on the lower end. Although, as I state that, players who main a challenger would probably like to have a word with me, because this is giving me 29.37. Now for the challenger, keep in mind, I gave it concealment. I did not give it a camo net because its concealment is so low that, I'll show you. Even with the camo net, it's still on the lower end. So for this, well, at least when I had it, I went with fence. Wargaming, I know the T25-2 is something of a hybrid, but at least give it a little bit more concealment. I'd be fine with 49, even if it does not reach 50. 47 is just too low. And in defense of the players who main a challenger, yes, I do believe that needs a buff too. Okay, for view range, 513 is very nice. Same with the challenger, 511. With 513, you can quite possibly spot vehicles without light tanks. So if you know the bush mechanics, when you get behind a bush, you back up far enough, I believe it is 15 meters, to where the bush becomes opaque. Then you fire. That conceals your tank when it's firing. If it's opaque and you fire, you lose your concealment. But what you can do is, when the bush is opaque, scoot up just enough to make it transparent, then activate your binocs, and with 513, it's quite possible you'll spot something. Okay, before I go into battle, I'm going to talk about the crew skill. For my, not only tank destroyers, but any class, I always go with Brothers in Arms first, then Sixth Sense. These two are a necessity. For tank destroyers, I love recon. It is a must. I love all my tank destroyers to have recon and as much view range as possible. And with the T25-2 having the view range it does, I'm capitalizing on it. Okay, after recon, concealment, because it's a tank destroyer. And at this point, due to my next crew skill being my 5th skill, which will take a really long time to complete, I'm going Mentor. This just to reduce the amount of time it needs to get crew skills, because the first crew skill is always the easiest to get. Second one's a little more difficult, but with time you can get it. Third, time consuming. Fourth one, really time consuming, and so on and so on. The amount of XP needed to get a crew skill increases the more you get. So after Mentor, I'm either going to go with Repairs or Eagle Eye. I have not decided yet. Gunner, Brothers in Arms, but I'm sort of biased with this. I could have went with Concealment, but I love all my tank destroyers to have Deadeye. It's just, for sniping, I see Deadeye as a must. Now, Snapshot, again, I could have went for concealment, but snapshot, I'm capitalizing on its accuracy and the fact that it is like a medium tank destroyer hybrid. There are times late game where I'll play it like a medium tank, and snapshot can be very helpful. Okay, after snapshot, concealment. After that, either repairs or designated target. But if you want to make concealment one of your first crew skills, say you get brothers in arms, then your second for concealment, I would not blame you. Okay, driver. I got off-road driving because remember what I stated prior. 56, do not believe this number. And I will show you when you go into battle, or when I take this into battle, this number is false. Even with this, getting the 56, just, yeah, I see 56 going downhill, but I do not believe that counts since I'm going down a hill. Ramming is me being hard-headed. I play it like a medium tank sometimes, and to say I've never been rammed would be a lie. So, controlled impact, then I'm going concealment. But if you want to take concealment as your first, second, or third, I would not blame you. That would be the smart thing to do. Me going controlled impact is just me being hard-headed. Radio operator. Okay, brothers in arms, situational awareness for the view range, and this is just, I just took this because, I don't know, I just clicked it. I could have gone for call for vengeance, I could have gone for concealment, but I do not like getting call for vengeance because I see it as a very pessimistic type crew skill. Your tank has to be destroyed for this to be of any use, and I do not like my tank being destroyed, so yeah, I'm more optimistic. I see this as a very pessimistic skill. So if you want to forget this, because I think the radio operator needs better crew skills. Not that some of these do not make sense or anything, but it just, some of them are kind of useless. Like, relaying, from my point of view, only really is useful in frontline. And my T25-2 will never be in frontline because it's tier 7 and there's no tier 7 frontline. Okay, so if you want to take either situational awareness or concealment first, I would not blame you. I'd go for situational awareness and then concealment. And other than that, take your pick of what's next. Loader, I went with Adrenaline Rush because I love that quicker reload when, like, if I'm about to go down and I want to deal as much damage as possible, Adrenaline Rush. It lowers reload and increases DPM. Intuition, this perk is largely ignored, or I believe is largely ignored by a lot of players. I like it because it saves me a reload if I need to switch shells, or it potentially does it. It will not always be the case, it's more of a sometimes. But if you want to take concealment first, that's perfectly fine. These are more a personal choice for me. Okay, before I take this in the battle, I'm going to show my service record, 48.81%. So I'm a yellow player. I do not claim to be the best or good, really. If you've been to Watt Labs, you'll know what a yellow player is. If you have not, I suggest you check out that website. SWAT Labs. It'll show you where a yellow player stands on the skill board roster thing. Alright, and off to battle I go. Come on, matchmaking. Wow, I'm really low on the list. One light tank and no red squares.
Let's get this show on the road.
Time to be a noob. See my speed? 49, 47, yeah. This is with off-road driving too. Well, that was quite the trade. I do not believe I was spotted, as my sixth sense did not go off. He was probably aiming for the T20. I have to remember my concealment is not the best. There's a Steyr right there. The Super Hellcat. Actually, I already knew the Hellcat was right there, but I was just remembering how I was just comparing it. Oh, let's make fun of Larry 3's sniping skills.
It's a trap!
I did not do as much as I like, but we won. Tank rewards. Oh, by the way, this is my first battle in the T25 too. So if you look right here, see, I wanted to show like what would happen if I just logged in and clicked the battle button. So I could have given a replay where I done exceptionally well, but yeah, I just not every battle is gonna be good, so this is just more of a unedited, just taking it straight in the battle. I'm a yellow player, I'm not the best. Just click the battle button and show you all. Two red squares and two light tanks. T25 2 on our team. Well, I was not paying attention to the red border right there. What is that light tank doing? So not only are you not scouting, you're sniping, but you're sniping in the open? What?
It's a trap!
Come on, light tank. Really? Both of them?
Penetration. Enemy armor destroyed.
Whoa, lag spike.
It's a trap.
Penetration.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Our light tank took so long to scout that gave the enemy time to push through the city, and yeah. I hope those three stay on cap. Come on, just need one reset. Yes. Well, how was that for a close game? Okay, what did we get? Nice. Damage-wise, 5th place. And it's a nice stock of credits. Okay. Before I end this video, 2 things I want to mention. And I do not know if this is with a lot of players or it might just have been that one specific player. But I came across the player who said they used the 90mm AT gun M3 over the T15E2. And their reasoning was that it reloads quicker, that the reload was not worth the extra 10 pen. If you look right here, see, their rate of fire is exactly the same. Basically, the T15E2 is just a 90 M3 with 10 more pen and a bit more APCR. What is it? 243, 258, 15? Yep, 15. 15 more APCR pen, 10 more AP pen. So, this got me thinking when I read what that player stated. I just wanted to point this out that they have the exact same rate of fire. And I'll show you. So my reload is 6.5 seconds with Top Gun. Stock gun, 6.5 seconds. I do not know what it is about the stock gun, but it makes the tank look more adorable. But really, everyone, if we're gonna play the T25 too, go top turret, go top gun. Well, you can only mount the top gun with the top turret. But yes, the top gun is the way to go. And that is it for this video, ladies and gentlemen. Ooh, I should have got some water. Felt like my voice is all scraggly. Anyway, have a great day and better tomorrow, everyone.